Gaming Miss Fox here, back with another video. In this video, I am gonna be building the pig farm area. And the first thing I'm gonna be doing is building the fence. Cookie, go lay down. Cookie keeps pacing around. The gerbils got out earlier. I called them and put them back in their cage, but Cookie is still pacing around. He does this whenever an animal gets loose. I don't know if it's that he just wants the attention, or if he's upset that I put the animal back in the enclosure. Or maybe he's looking around being like, is there another animal loose? Did you catch all of them? I know there's more than one cage. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, he only saw me catch one, but that was just because the other one went back in on its own. Luckily, the gerbils didn't have the guts to jump out off the shelf, so they didn't. I mean, they won't even jump out of their ball. These guys are cowards. But what happened was I thought that if I had propped the tunnel up, that they'd be less likely that they would chew and knock their way out. But it ended up making it easier for them to just jump when they went to go up to the lookout point. It made it easier for them to just. I don't know if they like one was on one side and then one was on the other side of the lookout point. Because when I went in there to check on it, what happened is that the lookout point is supposed to be like straight up like this, but it ended up tilting like this, and then the dome on top of it ended up unscrewing and falling off. And I also noticed the entire tunnel itself fell off. So I think when the tunnel fell off, it just tipped over. And that's how they got out. I'm not, from what it seemed like, because the one was like scurrying around, like trying to figure out how to get back in, and the other one just didn't come out. What most likely happened is that they're like, oh crap, this fell. I was in it when it fell. Oh no, I'm on the dresser. What do I do? And I just grabbed him by the tail and put it back in. Gerbil, it was clear the gerbil didn't want to be out. Because when I tried to put them in the ball, like, you really want to run around, huh? He wouldn't go in the ball. Like, they didn't want to come out. It was just accidental. But I removed the things that were propping the tunnel up, and now the tunnel's just being held up by the design of the cage. It's one of those like play tunnels where they got all those things that they can run around in. Some are in the cage, some are out of the cage. But I did buy another cage online, as well as 3D printing equipment. What I intend to do is 3D print a holder to keep the two cages stacked on top of each other, essentially. And what I'm going to do is stack the new cage on top of the old one, connect them with tunnels to increase the space. I thought about maybe just buying a bigger cage, but in the future, if these gerbils are the die of old age, I would probably just get hamsters, or not. Like, I don't know what animal. Like, what I do is I always reuse the cages. And the animal dies of old age, I get a new animal. But I don't always get the same animal that was in there prior. Like, the animal that I had in there prior was prior to that was a lone gerbil, and I managed to get them to be a pair. But prior to gerbils, I had hamsters in there, I had mice in there, and I know if they were to die of old age, I wouldn't know what animal I was going to get until then. Like, if they were, I might get a hamster, I might get a gerbil, I might get a mouse, and who knows, maybe I would turn the cages back into 2 separate cages and get 2 different animals. Or if I were to get, like, if one were to die of old age because one's a bit older than the other, I might get another gerbil. And then having the 2 cages would be helpful, because then I can get in one new gerbil, I get a lone gerbil, and, my lone gerbil, and do what I did this time around. What I did was I had an empty cage that I put right next, I put one gerbil in, and I put the gerbil in the other cage, and put the cages, like, right next to each other, and then I swapped which cage they were in every day. And then eventually they got along, and I was able to put them in the same cage. But if one of them were to die of old age, I would do that again. I would get a lone gerbil again, and I would do exactly that. But the cages being connected but easily separated and being right on top of each other would make the process easier. Because what the 2 cages I had for the original was 2 different designs, so they worked, but it could work a bit better. So the main problem I was having with the original design is that, while one cage, the newer one, was really easy to get the gerbils out into a ball and then transfer them. But the vintage cage, the problem with it was vintage. It was really hard to get the gerbil out, and half the time it was just a struggle, not to mention cleaning that cage is difficult. Because to clean the vintage cage, I have to take it completely apart and then put it completely back together and then nick the wires. It's like a bird cage. It's a pain in the butt. But with the newer cages, to clean them, all I gotta do is take the top off and scrub it inside and dump it. Like, all I have to do is take the top off, like a bottle top, essentially, similar to it at least, and then just dump it. Of course, I put the gerbils in the enclosure. Usually I put them in a ball. But, having to scurry around, try to get the gerbil in the ball, the vintage cage, I just can't. As well as, in the future, I might want 2 separate cages that are smaller. So if I were to get hamsters, then that'd be way too big for a hamster. The one I was planning to get for 2 gerbils. Because it's just cheaper. It's cheaper to get the smaller version. Because the cage that the gerbils are in now, that I got at the thrift shop for $1. Of course, online it's way more expensive, but the bigger versions just weren't too expensive. And I know gerbils don't live for that long. If I was getting a young gerbil, like in a pair already established, both the same age, and I intended to do that for however long the cages will last, then yeah, I would get a cage designed for 2 gerbils instead of combining 2 cages into one. But I have a pair that I did not necessarily buy as a pair. I also didn't necessarily buy them was intending to make them a pair, because, well, the one I bought that I had, the vintage cage, I intended to pair up with the other one. But originally, when one of my gerbils died, I got 2 others that were already established pair. But I failed to get them to let the 3rd one in. What I did was the cage I got at the thrift shop, I put the lone gerbil in, and I put the 2 gerbils in the cage that is big enough for 2 gerbils. I do have a cage that's big enough for 2 gerbils, that dwarf gerbils. But originally I had 2, and then 1 died. And I didn't want to go back to the store when they had a single gerbil, so I was just like, let's try to just get them into a pair of 3. And then that failed. So then I was going to the store again, a few months down the line, getting a completely different animal. But then I saw they had a lone gerbil, and I was just like, well, this gerbil's small. I have a vintage cage that is fine for 1 gerbil. If they didn't get along, keeping them both separate would be fine. But if they did get along, I would inevitably have to either combine 2 cages or get a bigger cage. Well, they got along. But now now the one's adult. It's not a baby one anymore. So now it's overcrowded. And clearly they're getting antsy because they're finding every way they could possibly get out. They're not getting antsy to the point they're fighting. So I'm not in a big rush to get a cage. Like, it's not go to the pet store now, otherwise they'll kill each other and separate them problem. It's more like, if this continues, one of them's gonna jump from a place that they really shouldn't. So I bought the cage online, and I'm just gonna combine the 2. Because it's cheaper than buying a bigger one. And I know if I buy a bigger one, then I'm gonna feel the need to fill the smaller one. So, with my tendencies and how I tend to buy animals, of course I care for them. But whenever I have an empty cage, I don't want to throw it out. I want to put another animal in there. And, I mean, I'm reaching the limit of how many animals I can physically care for. Like, I plan to get 2 more animals to fill the empty cages that I have, and that's it. So I know me. If I were to get a bigger cage for the 2 of them, I would feel the need to fill the old one. And, I don't have the financials or the time to do that, so I'm just gonna get a small one and combine the 2, just to save myself from my own tendencies. That's mainly the main reason. I mean, don't get me wrong, when I have the animals, I care for them. And I care for them very well. But I'll definitely end up with more animals that I can physically care for if I were to, like, if I find a cage on the street that I know I could fix up and put an animal in, like, literally that moment, it's coming to my house, I am fixing it up, and then a couple days later, I'm getting an animal to fill it. And, I really gotta stop doing that. Like, physically, I probably could care for more. Financially, no. I only have the health aid job, so... I mean, the animals I plan to get to fill the cages that are empty now are animals that would eat the food that I produce. Like, I have mealworm breeders, and I plan to get a bearded dragon. And also, the bearded dragon could eat my scraps as well as mealworms. So that's fine. And the vintage cage, I plan to get a hamster, which can eat guinea pig and gerbil food, which I usually buy in bulk of like 50 pounds worth. And yes, I do carry the 50-pound bag up a flight of stairs, so I'm strong. So that's the one thing. I can afford that. The reason I get a 50-pound bag is it lasts a lot longer than you would think. Because I had a 15-pound bag of guinea pig food. And the gerbils, the guinea pigs, and hamsters that I had in the past, and mice that I had in the past, all ate out of it. Like, I've had like no, not six. Well, I had 3 gerbils pass away of old age. Mice pass away of old age. Hamsters pass away of old age. Before I was even this much into the bag. Because the thing is just so big. So, yeah, that 50-pound bag can last an entire animal's lifespan if you're getting something small like a gerbil. But it does, due to having a lot of animals that eat it, it lasts like a month or 2, sometimes 3 months, depending on what animals have at the time and the ages on which they are. But, yeah, that lasts quite a long time. I remember at the thrift shop, they had like 3 giant bags of food. As well as I had gotten a giant bag of food, because before getting the cage and the food at the thrift shop, I was saving up money to get it at the normal price. So I had, because silly little me, figured, let me get the food first, because it's the cheapest thing out of the list of what I'll need. But next thing I know, I got like 5 bags of food for an animal that's like this small. And the bags were like 50 pound, 20 pound, 30 pound. I'm just like, well, this stuff doesn't expire, so that should be good for at least 5 or 6 different lifespans of this animal. And well, behold, that was true. I didn't run out. In fact, I originally lost a few of the bags that I had, and I recently found one. I still have it. It's still not empty. So, yeah, if I'm gonna get a new animal, I'm getting an animal that can eat that food. Like, that can eat gerbil food. Like, I'm not gonna get a new... If I'm gonna get a new animal, I'm not gonna get an animal that needs a new diet. Because I can definitely afford to get giant 50-pound bags of a given food item. I just can't afford to get something like... Mainly, I mean, financially and emotionally. If I had to feed an animal anoles, I couldn't financially buy that many anoles. But I also wouldn't want to feed anoles, because I've had anoles as pets. Granted, I have had mice as pets too, and I feed my snakes mice, but that's different. I've only fed my snakes frozen thawed. Most animals that would eat lizards have to eat them live. And I don't know, I don't find it all that sad if a mouse that was dead when I bought it is fed to a snake. It feels different if you've cared for the animal, kept it alive, and emotionally bonded with it, and then you just feed it to another animal. Like, when I had mice die of old age, I did not feed them to my snake. I buried them. Even though I feed my snakes frozen thawed mice all the time, that's what they eat, I have never fed them a mouse that was live when it was in my house. Even if the cat brought a live mouse into the house, I cared for it, rehabilitated it, and let it loose back into the wild, I would not feed that to my snake. First of all, I wouldn't know if it had a disease, because it was in the wild. You don't know. It was healthy and it recovered from an injury, but you don't know what condition it was in when the cat caught it. So there's that. But, it's like, if I saw the animal alive, I would not feed it to another animal. If I bought it for the intention of being food, it will be dead at arrival. I will not feed my animals live. And if I had to, for their own health, because they were being stubborn, maybe if it was something like a bug, but if it was something like a mouse they needed to eat, I would probably just rehome it. Like, I don't have the emotional capacity to kill something to feed it to another animal. I'm fine with feeding snakes things already dead because that's what it's there for. You know, it's survival of the fittest. Predators gotta eat, but it's just like when you build an emotional bond with something, even though you understand that the other animals you have need to eat that thing, it's still hard because there's emotions attached. And it's not necessarily that I don't like feeding animals to other animals. I know that animals have to eat meat. But also, you know, when you emotionally connect to an animal, it's like emotionally connecting to a friend. It's not as simple as, oh, I bonded with you, cared for you, and now there you go, down the belly of a snake. I don't give a crap. It's your friend. But an animal that was dead on arrival, you intended to feed to an animal that needs to eat meat, that's life. That's nature. They need to eat. You have no emotional connection to the animal because it's already dead, and you have to feed the animal that you bought. So not so hard. It's not as emotionally hard because there's no bond. You buy it solely to feed it to another animal, and it's just like it's a tendor. It is. It's feed or food. So yeah, some people probably question why I can have mice as pets, but yet still feed my snake mice. Have fun. I view the dead mice that I feed to the snake as food, as snake food. That's what it is. But a mice that's alive and that I intend to, keep alive, like a pet, it's a pet. And I bond with animals instantly. It's not like if I bought it for food, I could stop myself from bonding with it. Because I can. I know some people can. Kudos to them, because the snake will be a lot healthier in their care if it is stubborn. My snakes aren't that stubborn. I mean, Kong is a bit stubborn, but he'll eat if he's really starving. Well, she, rather. She's not gonna kill herself starving. Like, if she's losing even a gram of weight, she'll give in. But the thing is, I am trying to breed her, so I do partner her up with a male and expose her to male hormones. So that might be why she's not eating. She might... I don't know what the snake term is, but she might be horny. I should probably edit that out. I don't know how to edit. Oh well. But, yeah, it's probably just why. So I know snakes stop eating when they either haven't expend the energy they got from their last meal. And Kong is a very sluggish snake by nature. She doesn't want to move all that much. Like, when I feed her, she doesn't... Even if she's, the temperature is great, and the climate is perfect, and a snake should be energetic and happy and moving around, she's just kind of like, I can't be bothered to use my body to move. I'm just gonna sleep all day. I'm lazy. Like, that's how she is. And I know that because I can't get they both tanks exactly the same. But I swapped what tank the male and female was in. And they still, Kong would not move all that much. And Rosie would be moving around a lot. And also, Kong is a bit timid. Like, she doesn't want all that much attention. She doesn't really crave any interaction. She's just, I don't know, a snake, a typical snake. Where Rosie, on the other hand, loves being held, loves being handled and can't get enough of me. As well as a lot younger, too. Kong is full grown female, so I don't know exactly how much she weighs, but she's almost as long as I am tall, so big. Where Rosie is as long as my arm. So it could just be age factors that play there too. See, he doesn't seem, well, she doesn't seem sick in any way. She just seems lazy. Well, this is the end of the video because I finished the build. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Bye!